Hey there, Happy New Year's, y'all. It's Chris from Good Roads, and in this video I'm going to be continuing my snowboard build, which has become by far my longest and most difficult project here on the channel. We are all the way up to episode number 10, breaking double digits on this one. In the last video in the series I made a mold to press the board that I'm working on, and with that done, there's not a whole lot left between me and soaking months of work in urethane, praying to the layup gods, and hopefully coming away with a snowboard. To be honest, I'm terrified. I'm absolutely terrified. But I know that the best thing I can do to ensure that things go smoothly is to take as much care as possible, getting things set up for my layup, getting everything in order and ready so that when it's time to do the layup, I can go as smoothly and as cautiously as possible. On top of that, I've also got a couple odds and ends to take care of to have everything ready to press the snowboard, but they didn't really merit a video on their own, so we're gonna do them here. With all that said, let's get started. Let's get everything ready that we need in order to press the snowboard. First things first, I'm just going to take this aluminum sheet that I cut to the shape of the mold in the last video and tape it down. By tacking it in place, I won't have to worry about it shifting around while I'm assembling my board. Alignment is an issue that I really want to try to tackle. I've read a lot of stories about builders' first boards getting misaligned during the layup, which can cause a variety of minor issues with the board and some major ones, so I'm trying to pay particular attention to that. To those ends, I'm going to draw a center line down that aluminum sheet, which should help me keep the base sheet properly located in the mold. Now, my base sheet has been sitting out in my basement since last spring, and the humidity has caused some light rusting on the edges, so the next thing I've got to do is clean that up. I used a polishing wheel and a rotary tool and some coarse abrasive paste to scrub the rust off the steel. Great, now the rust is gone. But we've got a new problem. Those abrasive pastes are wax-based, and wax will definitely prevent the epoxy from adhering to the edges. So we've got to clean all the wax up now too, and I'm going to do that using acetone. The whole base sheet needs to be as clean as possible before pressing. I'm going to wipe it down with acetone now, just to get some base level cleaning done, but I'm going to be doing it again right before the layup. Next up, I've got to locate my binding mounting points. I traced the base sheet onto my core and my nose and tail fill material, then used the template I made way back at the beginning of the project to mark out the spacing for my bindings. Next, I extended the center line on my core out to the area where I'm going to be drilling so that I have a reference. Then I started drilling my holes. I'm using this drilling guide I designed and 3D printed to drill my pilot holes, but I'm actually not very happy with it. My pilot holes came out fine, but I think it's back to the drawing board for my drilling guide. I've got to come up with something that works better than this. I don't know, man. Next up, I grabbed a Forstner bit that fits the flanges on my binding mounting hardware. I need to drill recesses into the deck so that this hardware lays flat, and I'm going to use this bit and my pilot holes to do it. The walnut stringers ended up being pretty messy to drill through, so I went back and cleaned them up with a knife. Then I drilled out and expanded my pilot holes to fit the threaded section of the inserts. Nice and snug. That looks good. Well, maybe a little too snug. There we go. I repeated the process for the other foot position and was ready to rock. I also drilled one additional hole, and that's for a technique I'm trying that will help me keep my core, sidewalls, and base sheet all aligned. I got a tip about this technique down in the comments from Wave Wasters, who is a surfboard shaper here on YouTube, so thanks for the advice, dude. Here's how the technique works. You drill 2 holes in your core at the diameter of a piece of dowel. You transfer the location of those holes from the core onto the base sheet. And once the positions are marked, you can glue some small sections of dowel to the base sheet. Those dowels will act as registration pins. When you do the layup, you can weave them through the strands of glass and the fiberglass cloth, and the dowels will key into the core, locking the base, core, and sidewalls together. With a little luck, this will mean that when I cut my board to the shape of the edges, I won't cut all the way through the sidewalls and into the core. There's also one component of a snowboard that I haven't addressed anywhere yet in this series, and that's a top sheet. At the very least, you need a top sheet to protect the epoxy from sunlight and UV, and I've got some beautiful walnut veneer that I'm going to use for exactly that purpose. I'm going to book match it, so my top sheet should look really good, but also be very simple to make. Assuming I can get it to lie down flat first. I think I need to get an iron. I grabbed an iron and used the heat and steam to relax the veneers so that they wouldn't curl up on me. I didn't need to be perfect. The vac bag I'm using to press the board will squish everything down flat. I just needed to get these sheets to a point where I could work with them. Once they were flat, I cut my veneers to length. Next, I tack them together with painter's tape and then tape them in place with packing tape. I'm using a plastic backed tape here because I've heard that it will be easier to remove if any epoxy seeps through. Makes sense to me, epoxy doesn't stick to plastic. And there's my top sheet. If I can keep it centered, I should have a really stunning board on my hands. We're almost done. I've got a couple more materials to prep. First up, I've got to cut my glass cloth. This is a triaxial 22-ounce glass that I got from snowboardmaterials.com. It's my first time using a triaxial of any kind, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'll put links to material suppliers down in the description below. And lastly, I'm cutting a sheet of peel ply. This is a cloth that you can place on top of a composite layup that allows any excess resin to seep up through it. And if you put something absorbent above it, like a fleece or paper towels, all of that extra resin gets pulled out of the board, making it lighter, and the peel ply just peels away. I don't know if this step is 100% necessary, but I had some spare left over in the shop from an old project, so I figured, why not? And that's it. With that, I have everything I need to press a snowboard. I'm stressed about this one. But I can't get around it. It's time to pull the trigger, so in the next video, I'm gonna be doing some very last pre-layup steps, and then I'm gonna be pressing a snowboard. And I am nervous. This could fail catastrophically and ruin months of work. I mean, so if you're not subscribed, you should just go ahead and do that, because no matter how this turns out, it's probably gonna be entertaining. If you got questions or comments, leave them down below. I've got to shout out my Patreons for their support. It enables me to tackle projects like this one. Thank you guys so much. And whatever happens, I so appreciate you guys coming along with me for the journey. By the next time I talk to you, the board will have gone into the mold, so wish me luck, and until next time, I'll see you soon. Hey y'all, I just hope everybody managed to have nice holidays given everything that's going on. I hope everybody had a good new year, and I hope 2021 is a good and prosperous time for you. I'm gonna try to come back to you guys with a video, maybe a year in review, maybe looking forward to the kinds of things that I wanna tackle in the upcoming year here on the channel. But I so appreciate all the support you guys have shown me this year. Thank you very, very much. And I hope you have a happy new year. I'm gonna get cider in my hair, in my hair, in my hair.